Now, the Vatican is cleaning up its books. Its Financial Information Authority says there's been a sharp drop in suspicious transactions in the city-state. In 2015, it flagged 544 deals as suspicious and blocked 12 worth $2.4 million. Last year, 207 activities were marked suspicious, while 4 transactions worth $2.1 million were blocked. 57 cases have been sent to the Vatican's prosecutors since the financial watchdog was set up in 2010. The first 2 of these went on trial last year. But financial scandals involving the Vatican go back much further. It was the main shareholder in Banco Ambrosiano, which collapsed in 1982. Later that year, the bank's chairman, Roberto Calvi, was found hanged under a bridge in London. Sabina Castelfranco has been following this story from Rome, and she joins us live now for more. Sabina, thank you ever so much for joining us from Rome. Now, improving financial transparency was Pope Francis's one of Pope Francis's top priorities, but as yet there's been no prosecutions in the Vatican. How are Italian people receiving this? How do they view this effort to clean up the Vatican now?
Well, actually, Italians are viewing it rather positively. Of course, they don't know the great details, but they do realize that this Pope is actually very, very serious about the reforms and about transparency within the Vatican Bank. In fact, although he was not the one who established the Vatican's financial authority, because that was established in 2010, still under Pope Benedict, it has been Pope Francis who has been most vocal about the reforms. It was only 5 months after he came into office that he called 7 of the world's most important financiers to come to the Vatican, and he met with them and he said something needs to be done to clean up the situation here. I want the Vatican Bank to be transparent. I want something to seriously change, because this is an absolute need for the Catholic Church. And in fact, since then, a number of bank accounts have been closed. And as you said, many of the operations that were questionable have in fact been have decreased, certainly in the last years and certainly over the last 5 years.
Sabina, the Vatican is a sovereign state, but it is a highly unusual economy. Tell us a little bit more about how it works and why this particular model makes it prone to corruption.
Well, certainly this is is a state, and it has a huge number of properties, not only in and around the Vatican, but around the world. Not only that, it receives a huge amount of direct donations. They go into something called Peter's Pence. So these are the faithful that donate funds to the Catholic Church, in addition to other donations which are indirect and come from parishes all over the world. So there's a huge amount of money that is coming into the Vatican, and this is money that is then to be used for charitable works, but obviously also to be invested, because the Vatican has a huge amount of expenses. They also have many revenues, certainly the Vatican museums, which comes where there's $130 million alone that comes in from the Vatican museums. But there can be corruption in the way that this money is handled. There has been corruption in the past. As a state, the Vatican has required having a bank, the Institute of Religious Works, it's called.
Sabina, I'm afraid we're going to have to stop there. I would love to carry on this conversation. We are running out of time, though. Sabina Castelfranco in Rome, thank you so much.